Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Daily Motion, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Tuesday, February 10th, around 8:04 p.m. in Billerica, Massachusetts. And it's cold out, going to be a sunny day tomorrow, and then more snow, maybe 1 to 3 inches. Some news to report. The Sacramento Kings on the verge of signing George Carlo to a 4-year contract between $4 to $5 million to become the next head coach of the Sacramento Kings. And also, Jon Stewart announced that he's leaving as the host of The Daily Show on Comedy Central after 17 years hosting the show. And NBC News just announced it suspended Brian Williams for 6 months without pay, and Lester Holt will be hosting the nightly news until August. And that's about it on that. My third and final video blog subject for tonight is about one of the greatest players in NBA history, Oscar Robertson, the big goal. He was a god. He played in the NBA for 14 years with the Cincinnati Royals and Milwaukee Bucks, one of the greatest players of all time. He averaged a triple-double for one season, and that he was an amazing player, one of the best of all time. And here is Oscar Robertson's profile. Oscar Robertson was born in Charlotte, Tennessee. He grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana, in a housing project. He loved playing basketball as a kid, but his family was so poor they could not even afford a basketball. So in order for Oscar to play basketball, he had to use tennis balls and bags, and he used a peach basket as a hoop and stuff. And he played organized basketball in high school. He averaged 24 points his senior year, and he was named Mr. Basketball Indiana in 1956, the senior year in high school. And then he was recruited by the University of Cincinnati. He played 3 years with the University of Cincinnati Bearcats. He was one of the best college basketball players of all time. He holds 14 NCAA men's basketball records that are still intact in days. 3 times he was a first-team All-American, 3 times Missouri Valley Conference All-First Team, 3 times College Basketball Player of the Year. He had a scoring average of 33.8 points per game while playing for Cincinnati Bobcats, and he was co-captain of the 1960 U.S. men's basketball team, which won a gold medal at the Olympics in Rome. The Cincinnati Royals drafted Oscar Robertson as a territorial draft pick in 1960. In the NBA back then, teams could draft a player who went to college in the local area. It was called a territorial draft pick. They did away with that in the mid-60s because sometimes the teams would draft players who were probably the best college basketball players out there. Then they went to school close by. And Oscar played for the Cincinnati Royals for 10 years between 1960 and 1970. The Cincinnati Royals were a decent basketball team. They made sometimes the Eastern Conference Finals, gave the Celtics a hard time during the 60s for the championship run. But in the end, the Celtics won, and the Royals maybe talented a couple of those times to maybe overtake the Celtics in an upset and stuff. But by the late 60s, interest in the Cincinnati Royals waned, and Oscar Robertson wanted to play for a contender. And he got traded to the Milwaukee Bucks in 1970, and he teamed with Lou Alcindor, who is now known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And he led the Bucks to the 1971 NBA championship. And Oscar continued to play until he retired at the 1974 season with the Bucks. And when he retired, so here he was a 12-time NBA All-Star, 1961 Rookie of the Year. 9 times he was NBA All-First Team. 2 times he was NBA Second All-Star Team. He led the NBA in assists and 6 times. 1964 NBA Most Valuable Player. 77 times he scored at least 40 points in a game. In 1961, 1962, Oscar's the only player in NBA history to date to average a triple-double the entire season. He scored 30.8 points per game, 10.1 rebounds per game, and 11.4 assists per game. And Oscar Robertson was, one of the consistent players of all time. His career stats were 26,710 points, 25.7 points per game, 7,804 rebounds, 7.5 rebounds per game, and 9,887 assists, 9.5 assists per game. And Oscar Robertson's number 14 is retired by the Sacramento Kings because that's eventually the Royals moved to Kansas City, Omaha, to become the Kansas City Omaha Kings, and then to Sacramento in 1985. And there's also number 1 was retired by the Milwaukee Bucks as well. And Oscar was named to the NBA's all-time 35th year NBA team and the all-time 50th NBA team. Oscar Robertson's not known too much today in the annals of NBA fans because there's no basketball team in Cincinnati, Ohio anymore. That's how he spent most of his NBA career. After he left town, the crowds for Cincinnati didn't support the Royals and they had to move on, and there's never been an NBA team that's come into Cincinnati ever again, and probably won't be. But Oscar Robertson was probably one of the greatest players of all time with his average and stuff. And he's probably one of the most forgotten NBA superstars of all time. People saying that in my opinion, but he won his championship with the Milwaukee Bucks in 1971. After his NBA career, he tried to do some broadcasting for CBS in the mid-70s, but that didn't work. Now he's kind of an ambassador to the NBA. And that's about it on Oscar Robertson, the big O. And I'll be back tomorrow. Facebook friends and YouTube followers for 3 more video blogs. The first video blog will be about the top 10 greatest game show hosts of all time. Then the second video blog will be kind of a surprise. Third and final video blog will be about Grant Fuhrer and more of these video blogs about famous African American people, because it's Black History Month, so I'm honoring some of the most famous African Americans or African Canadians of all time soon, and it's pretty good and great positive feedback on all of these video blogs. I love doing them. Good night. Facebook, YouTube, Daily Motion, and Twitter. Be back tomorrow. Bye now.